好啦，呢條片就係講下你買完英國樓，你會有幾樣嘢驚嘅。第一就係你會驚租霸啦，第二你就會驚嗰個租客住壞你間屋好多維修啦。第三就係佢又唔係租霸，佢又唔住壞你間屋，但係管理嗰個人做得唔好，從而嗰個租客最尾都會差唔交租啊或者 whatever。咁呢三樣嘢點樣一次過解決咧？咁你就要睇我呢條片，我點樣訪問呢個 HA 嘅老闆。OK， 咁呢個如果你冇睇咧，上一集你可以睇翻，因為呢就係 part 2嚟嘅。就係講點樣我哋可以嗰個 HA 即係嗰間公司去包租我哋嗰間屋，而佢係包埋維修，做埋好嘅管理，而肯定冇租霸同維修，冇煩惱。呢個做法其實係對比於你租俾 open market 咧，其實係更 hands free 啊，即係你唔需要煩。當你有一個租客嗰陣時 OK 啦，有啲嘢煩你，但係當你有50-60個租客嗰陣時，佢又出入，又有呢啲 click卡維修，你係煩到爆炸嘅。所以你一定要揾一啲 hands free 嘅方法去出租你啲英國樓，其實係4贏嘅。點樣4贏咧？第一，業主贏，業主係收到市價租金，而冇呢個嘅維修同管理費，啲客亦都唔會出入，從而冇吉租期。好啦，第二就係呢間嘅 HA 公司，佢都會賺到錢嘅，因為政府俾錢佢減去佢個 part 俾我哋。雖然我哋都係收市價，但係嗰 part 就係佢賺嘅利潤啊嘛，即係佢 as 一間公司都要賺錢啊嘛。咁佢哋贏 ，council 又贏，因為佢安置到佢需要安置嘅人，而被安置嗰個人最尾都贏，因為佢有屋住，4贏嘅。OK， 好啦，所以睇呢條片嗰個嘅 HA 嘅老闆咧，啲英文口音可能難聽少少，咁你就不妨睇埋啲字幕啦。咁未睇 part 1嗰啲，可以喺 description 睇翻條 link， 我哋嘅 part 1。好，即刻去片。OK， 好啦，咁呢度就佢 office 應該等佢介紹啦。Wow, okay, this is nice, this is nice. Okay, so what are the colors stand for? Just different areas? Areas. 佢老細嚟，佢話。I just own the place. Okay. I like it, I like it. 佢見到咧係有啲一粒粒好細粒嘅，嗰啲全部都係佢哋即係管理嗰啲嘅屋啦。OK， 好似我哋嗰啲應該住嗰啲同學仔嗰啲 Google Map 啦，不過我哋就整喺 Google Map 嗰度。Yeah, just go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So you asked me what about market conditions and are we competitive on rent? Yeah. So I said yes, we are competitive in terms of the market. But one of the things that we don't want to do is take social housing from the social housing market, have tenants evicted, and then that property then comes to me, and I profiteer, and then the same tenant could potentially come back to me that was evicted in the first place. So our job in Greater Manchester is to help the local authority solve the homeless problem, predominantly in the UK, but here in Greater Manchester. So we don't want to profiteer from a tenant's downfall. So landlords are serving Section 21s on tenants at the minute, particularly in social housing.
Particularly on social housing.
And it's nothing to do with the tenant. It's not because of rent arrears, it's not because of the condition of the property. It's generally because the landlord wants more yield, and it's all about profit. Which that's fine, I understand that from a landlord's point of view, but that's not how we want to work. So we don't want that property from that landlord. We want stock from the private sector and bring it to the social sector so that we can help improve the social sector. So we want more houses, more investment from that sector to come and help that sector. We want to help it, not compound it.
Right, very good. So this I haven't have in mind. Okay, this is very good. 即係好有企業良心。I'll explain that one time. 即係 basically 咧，有啲佢唔想。就係一啲業主本身有一啲叫做 social tenant 喺入邊，然之後就踢走佢，因為可以踢走佢啊嘛 social 呢個 section 21。因為點解踢走佢咧？唔係佢唔交租，唔係佢唔成，係因為嗰啲嘅LHA rent 太低，咁唔 keep up 到啦，咁咪踢走佢咯，租俾我哋啦呢度咁樣。咁但係最尾嗰個人又係翻嚟去個 council 度揾佢哋幫手，又係去 rehouse 翻同一個人，而當中。我哋會賺到多啲錢嘅，但係佢唔想咁樣去賺錢，佢就想我哋去俾嗰啲屋佢咧係 from 嗰個 open market private sector， 咁就幫到啲 homeless， 幫到有需要嘅人，所以呢個係一個幾企業良心嘅諗法，咁所以我特登要去解釋俾咁多位朋友仔聽嘅同學仔聽。Okay.
Just to elaborate on that, keep going a second. So what? Just so your students understand. So what happens is if somebody becomes homeless, and they then present at the town hall. Somebody will see them from the town hall and they'll do an assessment with them, and then they'll find out what the circumstances are, and then they'll decide what path the tenant, the homeless person is going to go on. Now, if there's a statutory duty, that means there's a law in the UK, the government have said we will house that person. They're then all waiting for a house. There isn't enough housing. in the UK anyway, let alone in the social housing space. So they'll then come to a hotel B&B or they'll come to us. Now our accommodation, because it's houses, self-contained properties, they can live there for as long as they need to live there. If they put in a hotel and a B&B and they're a large family, it's not a nice living arrangement for a large family. Now that large family is waiting for a house because there's a statutory duty to house them. Now the council are only meant to have families in temporary accommodation for 56 days.
56 days,
before they move them on. So families can end up in a hotel for a lot longer than 56 days. So the key thing for us is we need houses, etc. to house the families, but what your students need to understand is, because a lot of people might think, well, but these are social housing tenants, but they're only to come in to us on a temporary basis until they get a permanent move-on house. If for any reason they misbehave or don't perform whilst they're with us, they don't get that move-on accommodation. So we de-risk some of the tenant issues because they have to behave, because they're not going to get the permanent move-on. So sometimes people are worried about, I don't want a social tenant. Don't worry about the social tenant because they've got to behave. If they don't behave, they get moved on straight away. And also we take care of the repairs and maintenance of the property. So actually, none of your landlords ever need to worry about, but that customer's never going to pay the rent, because we get paid from the council. And they've got no statutory right to stay in that house, because we can move them straight on if they don't perform while they're in this 56-day relief stage.
So if they misbehave, you move them on to where?
We don't. We don't. If there's any reason that they've brought what you would define as a tendency or some sort of behaviour in that property, we don't. It's back to the council. Now the council can say, we're going to discharge you because you have done X, Y and Z, and they can discharge them of their duty, so they then don't get any houses.
So then they
don't
become real homeless.
They become real homeless, yes, because they've been discharged. So they do have to behave, and if they don't behave, they can be moved on quickly. Our tenants, if there's any reason something doesn't go right with the tenant, we don't have to serve Section 8 and Section 21. We don't have to wait 60 days. We can do it today. So
if they behave, they move on to a
permanent house. But the reason they're with us is because there isn't enough permanent housing, because they're waiting for that move on. So that somebody might move on, there might be new stuff in the pipeline. So that's generally how it works.
So they behave, they move on to something permanent. If they misbehave, they go back to council and they can get discharged and they become real homeless.
Yes.
Okay. Then that's how this kind of scheme can keep the landlord's house condition in good condition because the tenant has to behave in their own interest.
我呢度解説一下先，就係租俾 council 好多人都聽過啊，租俾 council、租俾 HA 嗰啲啦，其實有唔同嘅。大部分嗰隻咧係叫做長期住所，即係嗰個嘅租客嗰個嘅 homeless 嘅人已經得到一個長期嘅安置，但係我哋做緊嗰隻咧其實就唔係長期嘅，佢係一個短暫嘅居住所嚟嘅。佢當佢 behave 嘅話咧，之後過咗56日或者幾多個月都好啦，總之係短暫嘅，佢先可以得到一個長期嘅住所。所以短暫嗰陣時嗰個嘅用家或者嗰個唔係租客呢間 HA， 即係嗰個人啊 homeless 嗰個人咧係冇權利嚟嘅，好冇權利，但係得到安置，佢一定要 behave。佢整壞嘢、整污糟嘢，雖然都唔使我哋，但係 in 佢嘅 interest 咧，佢一定behave 咧，佢先有得安置一個長期居所，否則佢就係我 break 咗一啲 rules 咧，佢真係 become homeless 嘅，聽唔聽明先？所以呢度係極度保障個業主，因為你個租客係好 vulnerable， 咁當然你幫緊佢，但係佢試下你幫緊佢嘅情況下，佢去搞彎你間屋，或者冇話搞彎人，佢純粹自己喺度喧嘩嘈擾，俾鄰居投訴，佢真係會 become homeless 嘅 ，OK？ 所以咧係好保障業主嘅呢一個策略。咁好喎，咁點解唔全部人都做晒呢一隻策略啊？咁樣咁第一就係有啲嘢係有限制嘅，例如地區已經有限制啦，佢唔係個 post 都剔嘅，所以咧你要去知點樣玩呢樣嘢咧，係 before 你買嗰層樓之前咧，你就要去知道你買邊度先，佢先至可以受理你呢間屋咁樣啦。OK， 咁詳盡咧，我可以喺嗰個1.5小時每個月嗰個英國樓分享嗰度咧去講多啲嘅。如果你係買咗或者買緊一啲英國將會要嚟出租嘅物業，歡迎嚟聽呢一個1.5小時嘅分享啦。OK， 咁到時見你啦，下邊條 link 免費報名。咁如果你冇睇過 Part 1嘅咧，記住睇翻 Part 1點樣一間20萬磅連埋裝修嘅屋可以夠膽死收成1400磅租金，仲要包晒維修包晒管理費咁樣嘅，可以睇翻我哋條片，條 link 喺下邊。中意我哋呢啲有養分嘅片，不妨 like、subscribe、comment 下，俾啲鼓勵我哋。